Do you know what I hate about finishing with oil? And that is, I never know how many coats to put on. Because it always looks better the more you do. But it takes forever to dry. And that's the other thing I hate, is how long it takes to dry. Now once you start finishing a piece, there's sod all you can do in your workshop until it's done. So something like this, with this bloody tung oil, 24 hours between coats. I want to get about 4 or 5 on this. You know, I'm out of order now for about a week. What I tend to do in those times is I like to design the next piece or get excited for the next piece. And that's really what I'm doing here, is I'm introducing you to the next project. Now, chair making is generally regarded by beginners as a bit of a twat. It's a bit of a bugger to build a chair. There's a lot of angles to contend with. There's a lot of building methods that are very unfamiliar. Those round tenons going into the seats at all sorts of angles, that bent wood. Very confusing if you're new to it. What I wanted to do is start a series, and in this first series of these chairs, is I want to build a very basic chair that goes through the very basics. We're going to get things like getting a comfy chair right. We're going to get things like the angles right for your back so you're not all sat upright. Stuff like that. I also want it to be made with basic tools, the easiest tools. The 10 basic tools maybe that everybody's got. The tools you need to build out. Maybe some wood that's easy to source. So really get you started. Basic joints, everything like that. But I want this chair to be something that you would be proud to make. I don't want this thing just to be some sort of screwed together. It serves a purpose as a chair, but it ain't a chair, if you know what I mean. I then thought we could progress from that. We could create another series down the line, somewhere in the future, where we build upon those skills and we go to the next level of chair making. Maybe we introduce more chair making joints. Maybe we introduce the round tapered tenons, for example. Of course, we're thinking a little bit ahead there, but once we get beyond that point, we can build a chair that we introduce bending. We steam bend. We start to get the bending. We put some splays back into it also. So again, we're picking up from the previous chair again. Now, some of you might remember, ages ago I did a post. It was a blog post. I think it was called The Three Stooges or something like that. If you don't, then there's a link in the description. You can have a little look. And basically what it was is with these 3 chairs that I quite liked. I liked them because you didn't need a great deal of chair building experience, or you didn't need the specialist tools, the methods, that sort of thing. I thought we could base the chairs around those designs. So you've got something like that commode thing. It was like, can't really bloody remember it. I saw it in a book and I quite liked it. It wasn't overly functional, but we'll come back to that one in a jiff. I think the second was a Moravian backed stool. Very similar to like a Swedish peasant chair. It's got loads of possibilities that chair has for design. You know, there's so much we could do with that. I want to break all these chairs away from the tradition, if that makes sense. I want to try to modernise them. And then third, you had that Sligo, the Sligo chair. It's a lovely chair. Not a lot on it, in all honesty, when you look around for it, but I think we could change that a little bit. That chair, we could introduce the bending into. It had this lovely bent back. We could do a lot with the legs as well. Again, I really want to modernise all 3 of them. Now, I wanted to do the first video, the first series, on something based around that commode thing. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go get it. This is basically... I'm not going to set up any lower. This is basically it. Now, what I want to do with a first chair is basically make this, but loads better. I want to completely redesign it. I want to take it from this old chunky looking thing into something quite modern and nice. Now you might be asking, why aren't I just showing you the bloody piece? And that's because I haven't built it yet. Now I haven't built it yet, and this is where things get a bit weird, because I want this to be our first series where I don't just go ahead and do a load of pre-planning, build the bloody thing, we film it, sits on some hard drive for about 6 bloody months before it gets uploaded, and then shown to everybody. I always feel very detached doing it like that. What I want to do this time is I want to build this thing almost live, you know, almost day by day. So through doing that, I'm going to be able to really talk to you all about the design of it. We can make decisions together about how we're going to go from complete, you know, pen and paper designing it right the way through to prototyping to the final piece. And you can all have your input on that. And that to me is going to be very exciting. It's going to be a lot more engaging, particularly this end. I also think it's going to be a lot more insightful. You're going to get to see a lot more of the, I suppose, the cock-ups, if there's going to be any, how we're going to go about fixing those, and also just the problems that you face when you are designing something from scratch and you're trying to meet a particular rule set almost. And we will be building this thing to a rule set. Oh, bollocks. Now, of course, if you're thinking to yourself, blimey, I don't like the sound of that, it sounds a bit scatty, then don't worry, because it'll still be, when it's finished, packaged up as a proper series anyway. So if you wanted to wait until you can get a good picture of what it is going to be that we're making, then I'd hold off. But for those that really want to learn the process and get involved a lot more, then I think this is going to be, you know, the next stage in what we do. So it's certainly going to be a challenge. Certainly this end, I'm a bit bloody apprehensive, I think's the word I'd use. But I think it's going to be for the better. I'm really looking forward to it. So it is now for sale. It's available right now. And the first part is already on. So there's none of this pre-bloody launching rubbish this time. It's just done and dusted. And on the page there'll be a little bit more information if you're unsure. If you pop over and have a look. If you're wondering what this is a series coming up pretty soon.